Hello? Is this actually working now? I love YouTube. I love streaming. I love YouTube. I love it so much. Ah. Nightmare. Anyway, hey, what's up? You know, it was just a little bit of OBS randomly deciding that it didn't want to connect to YouTube at all whatsoever. Fighting me the whole way. Healer roll quest is better. See, I didn't know which one would be considered the best, so I just kind of picked one. Matt suggested both the magic DPS and healer, so I just kind of went with, let's do magic DPS. I heard that it has medic, so I mean, there's only so long you can leave that dude hanging. He's gonna lose it. But yeah, we've still got all of these role quests, which you know, we just kind of, like, skimmed over. Because, I mean, who's going to do role quests in the middle of the hype-ass sequence that is the latter half of Endwalker? But then Dawn Trail was just, like, back-to-back good. But apparently these are just kind of like, you know, going back through some of the old main areas and going on some, classic ARR-style adventures with the various characters from those regions. You know, like Doma, Alamigo, Limsa, Gridania, Ishgard. Not really sure why Magic DPS is the one that gets Ishgard, but alright. That does seem a bit odd. I mean, I guess they're kind of like intentionally splitting them up. So that it's not like the exact classes that you would expect. But yes. I mean, I did kind of pick pick these based on the quest names as well. Because, like, yeah, the soul of like, what, the wounded capital is kind of hype. What even is this in English? The quest names are always just a very interesting one to check. Ah, it's just our aching souls. Yeah, that's not... It's like the capital. That's like referring to the specific spirit of Ishgard. Hero, I've been waiting for you.
異形の獣に転じる恐ろしい事件は我らがコート・イシュガルドでも発生しております。
What? Yes, terrifying. What terrifying incidents of humans transforming into what grotesque beasts have occurred in the capital of Ishgard.
その姿が竜に酷似していたため、目撃者たちの動揺は激しく、市民たちは恐怖に震えているのです。
Furthermore, what their appearances, what closely resemble that of dragons. The witnesses were deeply disturbed. The populace of the what capital are shaking in fear.
とはいえ、
Trembling in fear.
強大な獣を前に恐怖や絶望を抱いては、自らも獣化しかねないとあって、討伐隊の人員も厳選せざるを得ません。
Okay. However, even if we were to attempt to swiftly, subjugate these like beasts, exterminate them, or these massively powerful beasts, if one were to, harbor fear or despair, it's like, and succumb to them could become a beast themselves. Therefore, we need to be exceedingly careful with the personnel selected.
重要なのは揺るぎなき強き心を持ち、なおかつ我が国に不足している魔法戦に長けた者の協力。
Oh, okay. So they're doing the role quests. They're doing like the thing that each region is kind of lacking, I guess. So what we need in particular is the assistance of one with a unwavering strong heart who excels in magical combat, which our nation lacks.
その点においてあなた以上の存在はおりますまい。どうかその力を貸していただけないでしょうか。
Hero, there's no one more capable than you. Would you be willing to lend us your aid? Your options are leave it to me, or, I guess if I gotta. Yada yada, yep.
ありがとうございます。
Let's do it.
そうと決まれば、前もってコートに通信を入れておきましょ
う。Okay. He's just gonna send a message to the capital? Okay. Or contact directly, Link Pro. Oh yeah, because it's Sushin.
イシュガルドのエーテライトプラザ付近にて、アルトアレール卿が出迎えてくださることになりました。どうか、ご武運を。
Okay, Altoare is going to be waiting. Okay. Imperium. What is it? Is that like Imperium? What the? I guess opened or what? I don't know what that means. Oh, this is just a completely wrong ass quest. God damn it. Look, man. I'm thrown off here. OBS was freaking out on me. I'm still just kind of like glancing over at the side, trying to make sure that it's not like freezing up and crashing. I did not look at the NPC name. I was just like, wait a second, why is this a new quest? And whatever. I guess the quest must have ended and I just didn't notice. They did that in the Dark Knight quest chain, actually. That's the thing that it reminded me of. In the Dark Knight quest, there's like the starting quest for it. It's like 5 sentences long.
Ah, 要請に応じてくれたこと、感謝する。
I would appreciate you, responding or honoring my request? Oh, okay. Or responding to my request, yes.
私とアルトアレール卿を中心に、精鋭の騎士たちで当たっている。ここに、君が加われば、盤石の夫人となるだろ
う。Oh, God, what do they call these in English again? What did I call them? So, the Japanese there is blasphemies. Oh my god. Something like that, yeah, maybe. Because it is false divine beast. I don't remember what I went with. I feel like there's gotta be something better. But I feel like I said that constantly when this was showing up. Okay, Arutorene. What? And I are leading the... What are leading a group of elite knights to handle the... I'm just gonna say false divine beasts for right now while I think of something else. In the capital, if you were to join us, are... I mean, Banzoku there is... It would greatly reinforce our position, I think I would say.
では早速だが、こちらの状況を説明させてほしい。まずはコートに現れた偽真珠についてだ。
Okay, please let me explain the situation. First regarding the false divine beast that appeared in the capital.
獣化が起きたのは、ラザハンでの終末現象発生の数日後。場所は、コート上層、グランドホプロンの周辺だ。
God, they can just slap ka at the end of anything. It works so easily as a suffix. Like, they can just say kimono, like, that's just like, beast transformation. You just have suffix, like, the English would be like ification, but like, the short ka sounds so much better than saying like beastification. That's not, we're not doing that. That sounds dumb as fuck. So, this is just another case where I'm sure I had something for this and I've just completely forgotten it, so I'm just going to kind of give a light gloss with the understanding we all are aware that this isn't what you would actually do. But you also wouldn't go with blasphemies. Yeah, transformation is fine. There's something better in there, but we're not going to do that for right now. Just not blasphemy. Let me check what they did. Oh, this is just like nonsense. They don't even try. And again, everybody talks in the same sing-songy bullshit tone, so it doesn't sound like an official report or anything. I mean, the problem with... I mean, it might. Transfiguration was one that I was thinking of. But... Transfiguration is specifically positive. Like, you could use it ironically there in the same sense. You know, they're saying, like, but it's... False Divine Beast does not carry the same sort of... You know, the thing that they're doing there doesn't really... It's not, like, that sarcastic. I don't necessarily like that. That's, like... It's too playful, honestly, to me. Okay, the transformation occurred a few days after the first occurrence of the phenomenon in Razahan, or like the apocalyptic phenomenon at Razahan in the, upper district of the imperial capital, Grand Hoplon? Or in the vicinity of.
エレゼン族の男性が突如として苦しみ始め、竜のごとき姿に変異した。
Okay, a Elzen man who are, walking with an unsteady, who had been unseen, like, unsteady on his feet, began to suddenly began to, like, writhe in, or, like, scream out in agony, and transformed into a dragon-like creature. Or, like, a dragon-like form.
さらに、その姿を目撃した者数名が、連鎖的に獣化を発症。現場に駆けつけた神殿騎士と交戦し、いずれも討伐された。
Okay, furthermore, several individuals who witnessed this transformation, or who witnessed that, like, that creature, that form, underwent a... Yeah. Underwent a chain reaction of transformation, or it's like that triggered a chain reaction of transformations. But they engaged the Temple Knights who hurried to the scene in combat and were subsequently defeated.
だが、最初に点火した夕方の
Subdued, maybe.
我が国における偽神獣は翼を広げて舞い上がり、そのままどこかへと飛び去っていった。
Ah, God, and the sneeze. Ow. Oh, I bit my tongue while doing that. Fuck. However, the first, dragon-like, beast, in other words, the false divine beast, whatever, of our nation spread its wings and flew upwards to where or it's like in flew away.
我々は この偽真珠をコートに伝わる竜神伝説にちなみ、ファーブニルと命名、討伐隊を編成したところだ。
Okay, we've given this falsified beast the name Fafnir. Or, well, wait, no, that's Fav... Is that actually? Vinir? Is that the... that's like what the thing is saying there. But... Oh, that is! The katakana for... Oh wait, no, it's... that's slightly different. I think that's closer to the actual, pronunciation. Yeah. Faunir. And it formed a, subjugation unit. Strike force.
ただし、状況は芳しくない。ファーブニールは、それ以降、たびたびコート上空に現れ、脅かすように姿を見せつけては飛び去っていくのだ。
However, the present situation is... quite poor. Since then, Favnir, I guess, has, appeared in the skies above Ishgard, and... it's like to menace the city before flying away.
その度に、呼応するように、獣化する者がいてな。コートの混乱は深まるばかりだ。
Subsequently... each time this occurred, there would be those who, in response, transformed themselves. The chaos and unrest in the capital is only deepening.
偽真珠に転じた者の正体だが、未だ判明していない。目撃者に男の名を知る者はなく、神殿騎士団の捜査でも身元の特定には至っていない。
As well, the true identity of the men who, transformed into this false divine beast is yet unknown. None of the eyewitnesses were aware of the man's name, and even investigations by the Temple Knights have failed to, establish his identity? Or, really, you could just say have failed to identify him.
だが、一つだけ確かなことがある。それは、コートにおける獣化が、聖職者や異端審問官など、イシュガルド正教の敬虔な信徒だけに起こっているということだ。
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, that actually does make sense. One thing that we do know for certain is that this, transformation is only occurring amongst devout followers of the church in Ishgard, or of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church, such as the clergy and inquisitors.
ラザハンからの報告によれば、獣化は絶望などの負の感情によって引き起こされるという。
Okay, according to the reports from Razahan, this transformation is caused via, or triggered via negative emotions, such as despair.
イシュガルド正教の教えが根底から覆されたことは君も知っての通り、心の拠り所を失った者ほど絶望に落ちやすいということだろ
う。Yes, as you're aware, the teachings of the Ashgardian Orthodox Church have been overturned or this 覆された. I would go with like the fundamental teachings of the Ashgardian Orthodox Church have undergone a total upheaval. It's like, what, those who have, like, lost their... that's interesting. That's like... kokoro no yoritokoro. I guess you would probably say foundation. It's like those who have lost, like, their heart's foundation are more likely to succumb to despair.
いや、だからこそ、我々はこの獣化を容認できない。1000年にわたって続いてきた戦争が、ようやく終わったのだ。これ以上の悲しみを広げてはならない。
Okay. And yet, no, that is precisely why we cannot allow these transformations to continue any longer. This 1,000-year war has finally come to an end. We cannot allow for... like, the spread of even greater tragedy. I don't know. That one's a little bit weird.
我々は実態把握のため、正教関係者に対する聞き込みを行おうとしていてな。合流してくれた貴殿にも同行してもらいたい。
Okay. So, in order to gain a full grasp of the situation, we're planning to conduct... interviews? Amongst those, associated with the Orthodox Church. Okay, he's asking us to join them.
偽神獣天下の場に居合わせながら、絶望によって獣に転じなかった唯一の聖職者だ。
Oh, is there a specific Kefka line where he busts out the hawk? Okay, we're going to speak with, or the subject of this interview is a member of the clergy who, despite being on site for the initial false divine beast transformation, did not succumb to despair himself. It's the sole member of the clergy who did not experience that, rather.
クレムという名の女祭で、イシュガルド上層の聖レマノー大聖堂で待ち合わせている。早速向かってみよ
う。Okay, it's like deacon known as Krem. Okay. Do they actually say deacon? Oh, they do. So the only thing that they got rid of was the word Pope. They still call it, the Holy See, which is a direct Catholic thing. You still call them deacons and stuff, but the only thing that you're not gonna do is call the Pope the Pope. Very stupid. Very dumb. Just say Pope.
お待ちしておりました。アイメリク教、アルトアレール教、それに英雄伝までいらっしゃるとは。
Okay, greetings, just generalized greetings, talking about the hero.
大聖堂にて女祭を務めるクレムでございます。
Okay, I'm Kuremu, deacon, would serve as deacon at the Cathedral of, or Saint Remo Cathedral.
先日のグランドホプロンの一件では、現場に居合わせたそうだが、無事で何よりだった。
I hear you were present at the scene of the incident. In Grand Hopalon, I'm glad to see that you're well. Or unharmed, rather. We're seeking to prevent the... or to, prevent the expansion of the damage caused by these... beasts of the apocalypse. As such, we need any information that you can give us, no matter how minor.
思い出すのも辛かろうが、もう一度、我々に、あの時のことを教えてもらえるだろうか。獣化への歯止めをかけるためにも、どうか頼む。
I'm aware it must be, difficult to remember, or it's really painful to remember. Could you please tell us about that incident once more? Please, we need to... curb, or, I guess you would say put an end to, rather, these transformations. Alright.
現在、教皇庁では、政教分離に基づき、一部の聖典などを、聖、レマノを大聖堂へ移転させています。仲間と共に獣に遭遇したのは、その帰りでございました。
God fucking damn. Why am I learning the 4-kanji compound for separation of church and state from a Final Fantasy game? Why? I mean, it's not particularly that complicated, it's just Seikyo Bundi. Like, that's just church. Like, church and state separation. So, like, obviously you slap that together, you get separation of church and state. Like, I know both halves of that. There's a 4-kanji... Yeah, Seikyo Bundi. Right there. But again, this is what I fucking love about this game, man. They just bust this out. They just actually have them speak in reasonable professional ways. Like, in accordance with what, like, the current, I guess you would probably say, like, the current mandate of the separation of church and state. Or, like, the, I guess you would say, like, yeah, probably that. It's, they say, ni motozuki? You know, like, founded on, or due to. But, like, you probably have to say, like, according to the current mandate, or something? Like, in accordance with the like, or current philosophy of separation of church and state. The Vatican has been transferring a portion of, like, sacred texts and, or, like, holy texts and other articles to Saint Demano Cathedral. When he was on like a... I guess you would say in Japanese is like on the way back. So I guess it's like we were coming from the Holy See or the Vatican when we, with like my companions and I, compatriots and I guess you'd probably say companions and I, encountered the beast.
ふらふらと歩いていた若者が立ち止まり、突如、異端者のように竜のような姿に変身したのです。そして、私たちをじっと見つめてきました。
But a young man who had been walking unsteadily, or had been staggering about, suddenly came to a halt and suddenly, like a heretic, transformed into a dragon-like creature. And then, stared or gazed directly at us. Oh yeah, in the English they don't even mention the whole separation of church and state thing, of course they don't. Of course they don't.
あまりの恐ろしさに、私たちは叫び、逃げ惑いました。
I mean, that might make, like, Ishgard seem like a modern, reformed state or something like that. Can't be having that. Yeah, we were all... Or it's like, yeah, we were all terrified and... screamed and fled.
ところが、仲間たちまでもが、私の目の前で、獣へと転じたのです。
But, then... my own companions before my... or transformed, to beasts. Right before my eyes.
クレム女祭、あなただけでも無事で本当に良かった。同志たちが人ならざる者に変貌するのは、さぞ恐ろしかったでしょう。
人ならざる者。God. Deacon Kuremu, I'm truly glad that you at least are doing well, safe. Must have been terrifying to witness your... your fellow clergy. Transform into those inhuman things. Old-ass piece of shit.
バルティノア司教芸家。
Oh, that's Bishop. Oh, okay. I mean, it makes sense. He's got kind of the hat. Your holiness or your eminence. So you'd probably say your grace, I guess. Bishop Valentino.
失礼、この旅の獣化事件について対策を進めている方々が来ていると聞きつけたもので、どうしても一言ご挨拶がしたく。
Oh God. But please excuse me. I'd heard that there were those preparing you could just say handling, right? Like handling the or attempting to curtail the recent transformations. It arrived, so I thought I should, give my greetings.
事件への対応、心から感謝いたします。同志や敬虔な信徒たちに被害が及んでいる。 この問題、少しでも早く解決することを祈るばかりです。
Okay, I'm deeply grateful for your, that you are handling this incident. Or, taking this incident seriously. But I can only pray that this, with this problem that is, harming both are, my fellow clergy and the devout, will be resolved as swiftly as possible.
私たちにできることがあったら、どうか、いつでも協力をさせてください。
If there is anything I can do to help, please. Or if there's anything I can do to help, I would be glad to. Do not hesitate to ask.
お心遣い感謝する、バルティノア司教陛下。
My thanks. Bishop. Valentinoa. Valentinoa? Noah? I guess? God, these katakana names, man.
先ほどの見方は、バルティノア司教陛下、ここ聖、レマノー大聖堂を滑る司教だ。
Okay. Just saying he's the bishop who presides over the church. That's cathedral here.
教皇に進言できる、諮問機関、生徒評議会の一員でもある。その教皇の座が空位である現在、イシュガルド正教における、事実上の最高権力者と言えるだろ
う。Okay. Okay, he's also a member of the, Council of Saints, a advisory body that, provides counsel to the Pope? However, with the, papacy currently vacant, it's either he or they can be said to be the de facto head of the current Ishgardian Orthodoxy. It's he. He's the highest authority within the Ishgardian Orthodoxy at the moment.
う。その通りです。ですが、そのような、高位な御身でありながら、いつもお優しくていらっしゃるのですよ。
That's right. However, despite his position, he has always been incredibly kind.
溝の獣に脅かされているのは皆同じ。私も不安な信徒たちの支えになりとうございます。
What we all face, we're all equally threatened by these unheard of beasts. However, I too would like to provide support to the anxious, faithful believers of the church.
ここで一つお願いしたいことがございまして、よければ私の話も少し聞いていただけないでしょうか。
As such, there's something I'd like to ask you. If you don't mind, would you allow me to take a moment of your time? A moment more of your time, you'd probably say.
ああ、貴殿の心にそう。詳しく教えてくれ。
Oh, God. I don't know why I'm trying to... That is a cool-ass phrase. That is a cool-ass phrase. But in English, it would just be like... I think you would just say as you wish.
ありがとうございます。実は敬虔な信徒たちが獣化したことで、恐れをなした数名の聖職者が無断でコートを離れたのです。
Okay. I'm assuming this is without notice, rather than without permission. Several, members of the clergy, terrified by the sight of, devout believers transforming into beasts, fled the capital without notice.
ですが、獣化の原因がわからぬ状況で、コートを離れるのは、賢明な判断だとは思えません。それでなくとも、都市外は魔物などの危険が多いでしょう。
However, considering that while the cause of this transformation is unknown, I do not believe it is wise to leave the imperial capital. And besides, isn't the area around the city is incredibly dangerous with monsters and the like?
かくいう私も戦いの心得はなく、一人で探し歩ける自信はありません。どうか同志たちを呼び戻す手助けをお願いできないでしょうか。
But I have no knowledge or it's like training in combat, maybe. And I don't have the confidence to search for them on my own. Can I ask you to help bring my fellow clergy back?
それはもっともだ。協力させてもらおう。ちなみに、彼らの居場所は分かっているのか？
Alright, yeah, that sounds very well. Well, help, do you have any idea where they might be?
彼らが向かったのは、クルザス西部高地のようです。
Okay.
彼の地には、ゴルガニュ牧場
Western Corthus.
放棄された民家が多いですから。
Okay. There's many, like, abandoned dwellings there. Okay, so they're saying... Yeah, we're gonna split up and look for that. Alright. Hemlock, you gotta... Okay, and we're going to go to... Goruganyu Ranch? Sure. You got it, boss. But again, I just fucking love how generally competent the characters are in this game. Like, it's not something you see very often. In fiction. At least, like, I don't know, more like popular stuff, especially like MMOs, where you have serious characters taking the situation incredibly seriously and just doing what you would reasonably do. Like, we just spent that entire cutscene just talking to members of the clergy, discussing, like, the separation of church and state, handling the like, response to this crisis situation in a calm and organized manner.
あなたは英雄の
You're the hero.
見つかったか
There you are.
ええ、全員無事のようです。
Yes, they're all well.
皆さん、突然押しかけるような真似をして申し訳ございません。
All of you, everyone, I'm terribly sorry for, It's like intruding unannounced.
ですが、悪しき獣の最悪はいつ何時、正教の信徒に降りかかるかわからないのです。主教芸家も、正教会に連なる者の安否を心配しておられます。
However, the最悪. It's like the calamity brought. I hate using the word calamity for Sayaka so much. I hate it so much, man. What else can you do? What else can you do? I mean, maybe like misfortune? Right? Like that is a given synonym. I guess misfortune brought about by these, like, horrid beasts could we don't know when, like, when the misfortune brought about by these horrid beasts could befall the faithful of the church. Bishop, whatever his name was, is also deeply concerned for the safety and well-being of all of those within the orthodoxy.
どうか、あなた方の身の安全のために、騎士様たちの保護のある、コートへ戻ってきてくださいませんか?
Please, for your own safety, would you... for your own safety, would you please return to the Imperial capital under the protection of the knights?
そのコートが危険だと考えたから、我々は。
We thought it was simply too dangerous to be in the capital, that's why we...
元はといえば、アイメリク教、あなたのせいだ。あなたが、正教の歴史を覆したがゆえに、聖職者が糾弾され、市民から後ろ指を刺される。
I mean, hey, look, this is why the whole separation of church and state thing is, like, really important, actually. It's like, but... What, sir? I'm Eric, this is all your fault. It's like what you uprooted or overturned the history of the orthodoxy. What, the clergy are being denounced? This, like... This is like they speak about behind their back, but that's kind of like... scorned, I guess you could just say. I don't know. They say, like, you know, the clergy are denounced. The people would, like, curse us behind our backs. You would either say curse us behind our backs or we're scorned by the people. The citizens.
それに加えて、聖職者ばかりが獣になるなんて、聖教を快く思わぬ者たちが、何か仕組んだに違いない。コートになんて、戻るものか。
That's actually fairly reasonable. Yeah, and only those who, you know, like, only the clergy have been transforming into beasts. This must have been devised. Or, like, orchestrated by those who... But it's like, have ill intent, or... I guess you would just say despise the church. There's no way we would possibly go back. I'm not going back to the capital. Oh no.
なんだ?
What? Oh no, he's...
嫌だ、嫌だ。もう誰かに批判されたくない。私は悪くなんて。
No. What, don't blame me for this. It's like, don't blame me. This isn't... I didn't do anything wrong. Or I haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
We should probably go after that.
すまないが彼をって討伐してくれないか。彼に他者を傷つけさせてはいけない。
Yeah. Could you please go after him and, what, subdue him, defeat him? We can't let him hurt anyone else.
我々は残った者たちが獣に転じぬよう落ち着かせる。どうか頼む。
And we'll calm down these two and ensure they... Like, do our best to calm them down to ensure they don't turn into beasts, please. I beg you. The thing that I like, I'm just gonna, like, look over at that real quick. I'm not gonna do, like, a real big... Yeah, like, they just completely fucked this up. They just completely fucked this up. Of course they just make it about Hollow Knight in the English. Of course they do. They don't understand what the hell is going on. They don't understand the point. It's so... insanely shallow. It's so insanely shallow. Like, look at this shit. Hang on, this is important. This is incredibly important. Notice that in the Japanese, the thing that he said was, like, I can't stand them blaming me. I haven't done anything wrong. Right, with the specific usage of the word blame there being more like kind of like hate. Kind of, like, hang on, what was the exact word? Hee-hum? Yeah, that's like, He's saying, like, I can't stand what they say, right? Like, effectively. It's talking about the whole point here. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's about, like, this ostracism. It's about him, you know, like, he's saying, like, people are talking about us behind our backs, they shun us, you know, they don't see us as good people anymore, effectively, right? Like, they're aware of the true history of the church. Like, people are talking about us behind our backs, people are, you know, criticizing us, the church, everything we believe in. You know, we're not being respected, we're being shunned. And he can't stand that. It's all about the sharp shift in social perception, about being removed from this position of respect and admiration within Ishgardian society. That's the point. That's the thing that's fucking him up. Is the... like, that shift in social dynamic. The English doesn't understand this at all, and just makes it generic religious bullshit. Servants of the Fury will never be safe in the city, don't you see? This is your fault. You and your accursed revolution. The people disdain us, mock us behind our backs, and spit in our faces. And now someone is conspiring to transform us into monstrosities. Enemies of the church, I'll wager, emboldened by your deeds. So no, I will not go back to Ishgard. I'd sooner freeze to death than suffer your pity. All I've ever done was in service to her. I am a good man, she cannot forsake me, Halone preserve. Notice that in the Japanese, Halone was not mentioned once. The whole point was the history of the church. It's about the social system of the church. They've just reduced this to the most, like, generic crisis of faith thing. Instead of it being about, like, being shunned by the people. What do you mean she cannot forsake me? And why is he yelling out Halone preserve instead of just screaming in agony? In fact, if he was actually saying, like, she cannot forsake me, I'm a good man, Halone preserve, he probably wouldn't transform. Because he would have some sort of, like, spiritual anchor to prevent himself from falling to despair. The whole point is that he doesn't, and that's why he transforms. If he was, like, actually self-soothing with religious affirmations, he wouldn't fucking transform, now would he? Halone preserve? Oh, it was? But that also doesn't even make any sense. None of this, it doesn't even make sense that way. That is my mistake for not noticing that, but still. Like, all I've ever done was in service to her. I am a good man. She cannot forsake me. Even that alone would be enough. The whole point is that he breaks down. It's just constant, man. It's just constant. And, like, it's the accumulation of these sort of things that make the story and the characterization seem so shallow in the English. The Japanese is actually a very interesting through line. They They aren't suddenly shifting to this here. They've maintained that the point has been that this whole segment is about the position of the, faithful members of the clergy within Ishgardian society. It's not necessarily about their individual faith or anything like that. It's about their position in society. How they are viewed by others within, by other people. No, yeah, in an earlier cutscene, that we saw yesterday in 7.2 or whatever, Graha was saying, oh, thank the 12, by the 12, thank the 12, you're safe. It's just constant.
オレオ、彼はそうか、討伐してくれたか。とっさのこととはいえ、辛い役目を任せてしまい、すまなかった。だが、おかげで彼は誰も傷つけることがなかった。
Yeah, also just this, Imerikyu says, is he, karewa, he, him. In the English, he just says, is it done? I see, you subjugated it. Though it was sudden, I'm truly sorry that you had to do something like that. To burn you was such a painful task. But thanks to you, no one else was harmed. He didn't harm anyone else.
その者たちはクレム女祭の熱心な説得の末に、コートに戻ることを了承してくれたよ。
What, after, Deacon Kurem's enthusiastic or earnest persuasion, they've agreed to return to the capital.
連れてコートに戻らねば、詳しい話はそちらで聞かせてくれ。
Okay. We're gonna meet back up there and tell them about what exactly happened. Okay. Yeah. It's just so much more interesting of a story. It's the same thing that they did with the, the Dark Knight quest line, where the individual story of, the Dark Knight dudes. I'm so terrible with names, I already forgot his name. I'm just so bad with names. It doesn't help that his name was not easy to say or remember. Yes, Sigurd, whatever. Sigurd, something like that. The story of him, his family fleeing to Ishgard as refugees, being stopped by presumably a small group of knights, and then his parents being murdered. His mentor saving his life, and then him going on to see the man, the knight who killed his parents, be praised for his actions. That's so much more compelling and interesting of a story than just, oh, there's a huge convoy of Aura, and we fought the Knights of Ishgard. It's almost like there's, things being said in the Japanese. It's just this shit is just not even remotely close to equivalent. They're not trying. Okay, people we rescued are resting in the cathedral. Yeah.
獣に転じる可能性のあるものが正教の保護下に戻ることについて不安は残るが。
I am This is also a good point. It's like I'm, worried about, like giving those who have the, or returning those who have the possibility of transforming into beasts to the care of the church.
無理に聖教から遠ざけることがむしろ、獣に転じる引き金になる可能性が捨てきれない。
We can't rule out... Yeah, okay. We can't rule out the possibility that forcibly distancing them from the church could trigger their transformation into beasts itself. That's a good-ass point.
A の異端審問官は、まるで旧体制を望んでいたようでありましたね。
Yeah, that, Inquisitor seemed as though he... It's like wanted to return to the old regime. Like the old system or old regime.
上層部における歴史の隠蔽と偽装、そして番組の力を利用して敵味方なくテンパードとすることで高級平和の実現を目指したトール団7世の計画。
Yeah, that would be the concealment and or the suppression and what, camouflage or hang on, like disguising, falsifying? Yeah, like the with the suppression and falsification of history by the like the upper echelons of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church and what Forden the Seventh's plan to achieve peace or like lasting peace by turning allies and enemies alike, or like by tempering allies and enemies alike via the power of idols.
真実を暴いたことに
God.
イシュガルド正教会は混迷を極めている。
Okay, with that truth revealed, with that truth revealed, the Ishgardian Orthodox Church is in a state of, it's like utter turmoil.
共和制への移行により、政治との分離は成し遂げられたものの、政教そのものの改革は、未だ一種一体の状況だ。信仰は、コートの人々の心に根ざしているからな。
Okay. Okay, while our transition to the transition to a republic has achieved a separation of church and state to an extent, or it's like has achieved a separation of church and state, I guess the Ishitai. Shitai. What is the expression for this? What is the expression for this in English? It's like, you know, a constant moving forward and back. You know, it's, things are getting better, then they get a little bit worse, then they get a little bit better, but then they get a little bit worse. It's like the, reform of the church itself. I mean, I guess you could just say it's still in flux. Or has its ups and downs. Hang on. I don't really like that. So, like, I just plugged it into the, you know, you do your sanity check deep L thing, and it said, like, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, which is kind of almost right, but not really. I don't really like it. Like, it's difficult to work into us, but that is kind of the meaning there of this Ishitai. You know, I don't know, I think I'm just gonna say influx. The, like, reform of... Or just, like, not progressing smoothly. You know, the reform of the church itself is not progressing smoothly. Ebbing and flowing. Yeah. I don't know. This is one of those ones where you like, get the meaning, but trying to make it sound natural in English is difficult, which is why you have, like, editors and a professional translation team. Yeah, it's like faith is rooted in the hearts of the people of the capital.
心の拠り所だった正教を未だに信じたい思いと、その正教に裏切られた悲しみ、そして教皇不在の不安。皆、何を信じたらいいか迷っているのだ。
Yeah, like, this is the part where this is why this is so important. They're saying, like, 心の拠り所だった正教. They're referring to it as, like, their anchor. You know, their foundation. It's not necessarily that, like, belief in Halone herself or whatever is the thing that's super in question here, but it's about the organization of the church providing a stable foundation to base your, you know, your whole belief system upon. That you can trust what the church says. If somebody who is a high-ranking church official tells you this is good, you can go, okay, I trust that. They say, this is a bad thing, you shouldn't do that, and you can go, okay, I trust you. This is the church. They are, you know, this is our foundation. This is what we place our trust in, both spiritually and socially. This is our support network. It's like the desire to believe in the church that was once their foundation. What alongside the sadness or the sorrow of having been betrayed by that very church, and the anxiety caused by the absence of the Pope, the people are at an utter loss as to what to believe. Yeah, like, compare that. This is so interesting in the Japanese, and then look at how they just, like, summarize it incorrectly in the English. This is, like, incorrect Spark Notes. Though we have made great strides in separating religion and state, there has been far less progress in the reformation of the church. They completely got rid of the whole republic thing. For our faith has been everything to us, our purpose and our comfort. 'Tis not an easy thing to reconcile one's beliefs with the betrayal of our spiritual leaders. What are you fucking talking about? Like, this is just literally an incorrect summary. They're not talking about faith here in that way. They're talking about the church. They're saying, like, where is the statement? They want to believe in the church that was once their foundation, but they feel betrayed by the church, and they're anxious at the absence of the Pope. Everyone is confused. They don't know what to believe. You know, they don't know what to believe or what to trust. That, like, shinjitarai, nani o shinjitarai, isn't really just believe, but it's like they don't know what to... In English, you would probably split this up and say they don't know what to believe or who to trust. Because that shinjitarai is pulling double duty there. It's both talking about a belief, but also trust. Like, what do you mean reconcile one's beliefs with the betrayal of our spiritual leaders? Again, reading comprehension. That isn't the point. It's about comfort.
それが最も顕著なのが、聖教の僕たる聖職者たちだ。経験であったがゆえに、彼らの迷いや不安は計り知れない。時には、絶望に至ることもあるだろう。
Yeah, this is most obvious or most evident within the clergy, Oh, it's like the faithful servants of the Orthodox Church. What, precisely because of their, piety, the doubt and anxiety they feel are, incomprehensible, or like unfathomable. And that could lead them to fall to despair. Or it could drive them to despair.
「やはり、獣化する者が、聖職者など敬虔な信徒に集中していることと、無縁ではないでしょうね。」
Yeah, so it really, like, there is a correlation then between, or like that there is a relation then between like God, this is difficult to word. Okay, it's like, it's no coincidence that those who tend to transform are those of the clergy or other devout believers of the church.
とはいえ、これらはまだ憶測の域を出ない。十分な調査と慎重な対策の検討が必要になる。
However, this is still, no more than speculation on our parts. We'll need to thoroughly examine the situation and carefully consider what measures ought to be taken.
有志戦争の終結によって新たな時代に一歩踏み出した我々は今その先の歩み方を問われているのかもしれない。
Having taken a step into a new era with the conclusion of the Dragon Song War, what we are now faced with the question, or it's like we may now be faced with the question of how we are to
これ
proceed.
を君のおかげでたどり着いた真実と今のコートをそう簡単に手放したりするものか。
What we are not going to so easily let go of the truth we obtained thanks to you. What, or the like capital as it stands?
では、獣に転じた異端審問官について、精鋭、レマノー大聖堂に保護された者たちの容体が落ち着き、次第、クレム女祭から話を聞き出してもらいましょ
う。Okay. So we're going to go talk to the Inquisitor who we're going to go talk about the Inquisitor who transformed. Going to get news from Kurem once the people in the cathedral have stabilized. Yeah. Once they calm down and are doing all right.
私に情報を共有してこよう。アルトアレール教はここを頼む。
Okay, I'll share the information with my subordinates as well. Okay, thank you.
オレオ、君はまた近いうちに、アルトアレール教の元を訪ねてくれ。それでは、また会おう。
Oh shit. An actual level up. Damn. God, that goes hard. But like, no forgiveness, no salvation. God damn.
オレオ殿、来てくれたか。保護した聖職者たちの事情聴取だが、クレム女祭が慎重に進めてくれていてな。間もなく、報告に来てくれるはずなのだが。
Okay, regarding the investigation or like questioning of the rescued clergy, Deacon Krem was handling that process, like delicately. Could be ready with a report soon.
伝えてあるゆえ、すぐにいらっしゃるはずだ。皆で話を聞こう。
Alright, I already informed Imeric, you should be here soon. Okay. We're all gonna go together. Oh, that guy's coming over here. Makes sense. Know what's going on, man.
ご足労感謝する。早速だが、いくつか聞かせてほしいことがある。
Thank you, Deacon Kurem. Yeah, thank you for coming. So then, there's several things I'd like to ask you.
ええ、私に答えられるものであれば、ぜひとも協力させてください。
Yes, if I can answer, I'd be happy to cooperate.
早速だが、保護した者たちは、獣に転じた異端審問官と知己であり、彼らはイシュガルド正教の聖職者であった。
Okay, so yeah, we're setting it up. The individuals we rescued were acquaintances of the Inquisitor who transformed, and were themselves members of the Ishgardian, the clergy of the Orthodox Church of Ishgard.
市民による正教への糾弾を恐れるため、これに間違いはないか？
Yes! Look! Here! This is what... Yes! The reason they relocated... You know, they moved to this... To such a remote region outside of the, outside of the capital was due to fear... Well, like, of the... Again, this is... it's... Kyudon. That's like... That's not just saying, like, blame. It's saying, like, you know, like, people would tell them, like, to their faces, basically, that they were, like, bad people, kind of. What's a good word for this? What's a good word for this? What is a good word for this? It's like they were... Like, I was out of fear of, like, the church being... It's not slandered. Slandered isn't the right word. I guess I'm just gonna say scorned by... What, a section of the population of the capital? Repudiated is not, like... That's not really, like, strong enough? I don't know, this is one of those ones where I see the word in Japanese, and then the meaning just gets, like, locked in, and I can't remember an equivalent English term. Because I can't think of anything that matches. Like, denounce is not really accurate either, it's more aggressive.
コートは敬虔な信徒が多かった。多分反動も大きく、一部には厳しい批判の声もありましたから。
Yeah, that appears, yeah, it seems to be the case. As the capital was home to, like, so many devout believers, the, ensuing castigated? Kind of, maybe. There was an incredibly strong backlash. With those, you know, very harshly criticizing the church and clergy.
正教が偽りの歴史を教えてきたことは事実ですが、何も知らされていなかったのは我々も同じなのです。それを問いただしても圧力を生むだけだというのに。
It's true that the orthodoxy upheld and taught a false history. However, we were kept in the dark, or we were just as ignorant of that as well. And then this, それを問いただしても。It's like, and so, like, man, this is one where I'm just gonna have to kind of, like, give a gloss. He's saying that attempting to basically, like, interrogate members of the church who were equally unaware of that situation and say, like, hey, why the hell did the church do this? You know, what, you guys just, like, you know, you're lying to everybody. It's like, well, we didn't fucking know either. That that's only going to cause more friction, discord.
貴殿の言う通りだ。だが、誰かを責めずにはいられないものが少なくないのも、悲しいかな、現実ではあるのだろ
う。Yeah, like that, you see what I mean? It's like, you're right, however, you know, sadly, it is, you know, a reality that, like, there are those who need, or who simply cannot. Or it's like who simply need someone to blame. I mean, the answer to that is... The person to blame would probably be the old Pope and the people who were aware of that nonsense. You could probably just blame those guys.
獣化してしまった者たちを含めて、貴殿ら聖職者が、粒子戦争終結後に、どんな葛藤を抱いてきたのかを。
Alright, so then, please tell me one more thing. What, it's like, what sort of, conflicts or issues have you and, or it's like, including those who have transformed, what issues have you and other clergy member faced since the end of the Dragon Song War? Like, what conflicts?
戦争の終結は、もちろん悲願ではありましたが、我ら聖職者たちに限っては、現状に満足している者はいないと言っていいでしょ
う。The end of the war is, of course, like everything we could have ever wanted for its Higan. It's like, you know, something we all desired, however... It's, like, safe to say that amongst the members of the clergy, there are none who are satisfied with, like, fully satisfied with the current situation.
聖職者にとって、我が身を捧げんとした聖教は、己を己たらしめる思想の核のようなものです。
Okay, for us members of the clergy, the orthodoxy, what that we have dedicated ourselves to is like the very foundation or the very center of the, you know, of our ideology that defines us.
その欺瞞と真実を知って、皆葛藤しています。裏切られた悲しみ、何も知らなかった自分への無力感や自責、そして思想や行動の規範が失われた喪失感。
Yeah, everyone is, conflicted or, like, yeah, after learning about this deception and the truth, they feel the sorrow of having been betrayed, like a sense of powerlessness and, like, they feel, you know, we feel, like, powerless and blame ourselves for our own ignorance. What, and a sense of loss at having lost... You know, like a sense of, loss of having been... this is, like, in English you have to say kind of loss twice here. Like a profound sense of loss at having... lost the standard by which we... like, that guided our thoughts and actions. You know, they're saying that, right, because the church had been lying to us for so long, the very thing that we had looked to base our lives around, that gave us our guiding example as to how we should live our lives, etc., like, that's gone now, and you feel the sense of, like, loss or mourning, almost.
我々はずっと暗闇のただ中にいる思いです。
It's like we feel as though we've been in like the midst of darkness this whole time, or it's like, you know, we've been in the dark this whole time.
「しかし、私は信じております。聖教が新しい道を見つけ、また人々の希望となることを。」
Yeah. And yet, I still believe that the Orthodox Church will find a new path and once more become a source of hope for the people.
正直なところを語ってくれてありがとう。しかし、これで確信が持てた。
Thank you for your honesty, but yeah, however, I'm now sure, I'm certain.
クレム女祭、ヒデンには話しておきたいことがある。エオルゼア各地で発生している人の獣化現象は、人の絶望に起因する。
There's something I must tell you, this phenomenon by which humans are transformed into beasts, which is now occurring throughout Eorzea, is caused by human despair.
ヒデンの話してくれた聖職者たちの抱える不安。それが時に絶望にまで至り、彼らを獣化させているというのが、現状の私たちの推察だ。
Okay, our current, hypothesis, I guess, is that, the anxiety and concerns, that the clergy such as yourself face, occasionally, or have the possibility of leading them to fall to despair, and thus transform into
ヒデンも
beasts.
聖職者ではあるが、改革の希望を信じていたがゆえに、獣に転じなかったのだろう。その心根の強さを見込み、調査に協力してほしい。
You two are a member of the clergy, and yet, because you believed in the hope of reform, it is likely that that is why you did not transform. Given the strength of your heart, or your strength of your character, you might say, I'd like to ask for your cooperation in this investigation.
同志を絶望から救うためならば、喜んで。
If I can save my fellow clergy from despair, gladly.
クレム女祭のおかげで、推察はより現実味を帯びたが、そうなると、偽真珠の正体が気にかかりますな。
Okay, thanks to Deacon Clem or Kuremu. what our theory has... What's seeming more accurate, I guess you would say. I don't know. That one's weird. However, I'm still... You know, that still leaves the question of... the true identity of this false divine beast.
聖教の現状を嘆き、強大な偽神獣となった彼もまた聖職者だったのでしょうか。
What he lamented the state of the orthodoxy more than anyone else, and became the incredibly powerful false divine beast. Was he a member of the clergy, perhaps?
私が姿を見たのは転じる前の一瞬でしたが、街灯も羽織らず、ひどく簡素な身なりをした男性でした。聖職者のようにはとても。
I only, caught a glimpse of him before he transformed, but he was dressed in... Yeah, he was a man in very simple clothing. He certainly didn't look anything like a member of the clergy.
ラザハンの報告書によると、偽神獣の行動は生前の人格や記憶に影響を受けている可能性があるという。
According to the report from Razahan? Oh, so is he gonna be like one of the, die-hard heretic guys? Yeah, the behavior of these, false divine beasts were influenced by their personalities and memories from when they were alive.
偽神獣の行動原理が分かれば、討伐にも役立てるだろう。そのためにも、偽神獣ファーブニルの正体を探らねばな。
Okay. But if we can figure out how this... this false divine beast's behavior... behavioral patterns, if we can figure out his behavioral patterns... modus operandi, kind of... will help us to subjugate it, defeat it. So, okay, we need to... uncover the true identity of... false divine beast, Avenir.
クレム女祭には不安を抱える聖職者への呼びかけを頼みたい。彼らの心が少しでも落ち着くように。
Okay. I'd like for you to, Deacon Krem, like you to, reach out to any members of the clergy who are worried or struggling with anxiety. And so hopefully they can find at least some peace.
もちろんです。人の心に寄り添い、救うことこそが私の使命ですから。
Yeah, of course, it is my mission to, care for the hearts of others. And save them. That's good, that's more to help. It's more help than save. I don't know, you might say salvation. You get what he means.
やはり鍵は偽神獣の正体にある。神殿騎士団に捜査を任せてきたが、今一度我々も目撃情報の洗い出しを行ってみよう。
Okay, the key lies in the true identity of this false divine beast. Okay, we've, given the investigation over to the Temple Knights. However, it would be best if we, reviewed the eyewitness testimonies again.
「偽神獣が発生した際、グランドホプロンには聖職者たちだけではなく一般市民がいたはずだ。コートの上層で偽神獣となった男の目撃証言を集めよう。
Okay, we're going to go get information. It was not just from, members of the clergy, but also people in general who were there at the time. Okay. So we're going over to, Grand Hoplon and seeing if we can find any accurate eyewitness testimony from regular-ass people who are there.
コートに巨大な竜が出現したとき、私はその時こちらに羽織りませんでしたの。
Okay, yeah, okay. She wasn't here at the time that it happened when the dragon appeared.
恐ろしい限りですわ。議会の発表ではドラゴン族の襲来ではないとのことですけど、それって本当ですの？
Yeah, but even still, it's, you know, terrifying. The council, parliament, I guess? I can't remember exactly what this is. Announced that it wasn't, I guess it's parliament, right? Because they're switching to, like, a republic. Announced that it wasn't an attack by the dragons, however, but is that really true? You know, people are not particularly convinced that it isn't the dragons again.
Grand Hoplon で出現した獣？俺、エレゼン族の男が竜に変わる瞬間を見たよ。てっきり異端者かと思ったが、違ったのか？
Hey! Yeah, the beast that appeared in Grand Hoplon, I saw an Ellison man transform into a dragon. I assumed or thought he was a heretic. Was that not the case? I'm leaning towards it being that. Like it's somebody who wants... Like, didn't want the war to actually be over or something like that. Somebody who just, like, fucking despises Ishgard.
対等も羽織らない簡素な身なりの男なら、すれ違ったぞ。
Okay, I wasn't there for the, when the incident in Grand Hoplon occurred, but I did pass by a man, dressed in simple clothing without even like a cloak or a coat?
どうやら、
Rather.
商店街のルーシュマンド記念病院を抜け出したようでな。病院の職員が彼を探していたから、覚えているんじゃ。バンドローという名だったかの。
Oh, what, he, like, escaped, or... It's not necessarily escaped, it's like... like, snuck out from... Dushimon Memorial Hospital? What, on, like, Blue Sky Street? I remember the, like, what hospital staff were looking for him. I think his name was... Vondro? That might be our guy. It's probably our guy.
なるほど。商店街の病院を抜け出したとおぼしき男か。
It's like a man who, like, it's appeared to have, or, like, seems to have slipped out, or... It's not really escaped, necessarily. It's, again, like, kind of snuck out of a hospital in...
こちらでも寒さを忘れた様子で
Blue Sky
自室の
Street
状態で
Quarter
歩いているものを見たという証言がありましたね。
Okay, I also, heard eyewitness accounts of a man, someone walking around, like, in a daze, seemingly, completely unaware of the cold. or like oblivious to the cold.
病院から木の幹のまま抜け出した格好であれば説明がつきますな。
Yeah, if they'd come out in... Like, if they had slipped out of a hospital wearing, like, you know, their hospital clothes. Yeah, I guess you'd say, like, hospital clothes there. I don't know. Kinomiki? Is saying, like, just, like, what they were wearing at the time. That would make sense.
ああ、おそらく証言は偽心中となった男で一致しているだろう。それにしてもバンドローとはな。
Yeah, that's the testimony. Yeah, like, it's consistent with the man who transformed into that false divine beast, and... so then, Vondro.
嫌な、コートでは有名な名なのだ。バンドロード・ルーシュマンド、くしくも病院の名にもなっている、仙台総天騎士団総長だ。
Oh, so that's what he meant. Okay, but it's like still to think Vondro. No, it's an incredibly famous name within the imperial capital. Vondro de Dordushimond. It's like, what, the former leader of the... What, the Order of the Knights of the... What, the former leader of the Knights of the Blue Sky. You know, who shares a name. It's like a name that coincidentally also, like, shares a name with the hospital.
老齢のために総天騎士団総長を引退した後、人知れず旅に出たと聞いておりますが、果たして本人でしょうか。
What, I heard that after... What, retiring as the... What, leader of the Knights of the Blue Sky, he... What, due to his old... What, due to age, he... What, secretly or, like, departed on... For a journey, but... Could that really be him? So that's like a... They gave that, like, public story that he had, like... You know, like an old man going off on... To, like, travel the world when actually he's... Been in a fucking hospital all the time. Okay, he's gonna go up there and see if he can find somebody who, like, might know something. We're going to go wait at the Cloud Cover District. Okay. Interesting. It is easy to forget with modern technology, but, like... Really, in any time pre-internet, you could just kind of disappear. And nobody would know. Like, if the dude was just, like, kept in some random-ass hospital room... It would be completely reasonable for the public at large to not know that he was there at all.
アルトアレール卿が戻るまで、我々はここで待っ
And especially if he's somebody important, it would make sense that the... Like, that hospital staff would not immediately go like, hey, we lost. Like, you know, you're part of a hospital and you were supposed to, like, keep an eye on this old dude who's incredibly famous, and he just left. You might not want to, like, specifically say, hey, we lost this guy. This is... Sir, Dolfric, who was, the nurse in charge of, the individual known as Vondro.
もしや、バンドローさんが見つかったのですか？病院を抜け出したまま、未だに帰らないのです。
Oh, have you found Vondro? Yeah, it's like, has he been found? He slipped out of left the hospital and we haven't been able to find him since.
では、やはり行方がわからないと？我々は、ある事情で、バンドロー氏の身元を調べていてな。詳しく教えてはもらえぬだろうか？
So then, you don't know his whereabouts, or his whereabouts are unknown. We've been investigating the identity of this, of Mr. Vondro for certain reasons. Would you be willing to tell us about him in more detail?
ええ、彼はクルザス中央高地で保護された青年です。しばらくは新電気手段病院にいたのですが、長期療養のためにルーシュマンド記念病院に転院してこられました。
Oh wait, I completely forgot about that point of detail that this was a young man. So no, it's not the same dude. Obviously, they were just talking about the name itself being famous. God. Brain, wake up. It's just somebody with the same name. Probably? I mean, I can't see any other way. Okay, it was a young man who was taken taken into care or from the Corthus Central Highlands. He spent some time at the Temple Knights infirmary / hospital. However, he was transferred to Richmond Memorial Hospital for long-term medical treatment or long-term recuperation? Long-term treatment?
つまり、バンドロード・ルーシュマンドとは別人と考えて良さそうだな。
Oh, okay, wait a second. Okay, I don't feel as bad. Yeah, a young man, so then... this is a different person than Vandorod Rushmond. We're not speaking about Vandorod Rushmond.
電気手段総長だった方とは、ええ、もちろん別人ですとも。
Yes, he is very much so a different person than the former leader of the Knights of the Blue Sky. Yeah, completely different
そ
person.
の名は目を覚ました本人が語ったものですが、記憶が曖昧で身分を示す品を持っていたわけでもなく、正直、私たちにも詳しいことは。
However, that's the name that he gave after he woke up. His memory was vague / hazy, and he had nothing on him to prove his identity. To be honest, we were not fully aware of... We didn't know much we did not know much about him as either.
そうこうするうちに、病室から抜け出してしまい、捜索願いを出していたのです。
However, he slipped out of his hospital room, and we filed a missing persons report.
彼は先日グランドホプロンにて、強大な終末の獣、ファーブニルに転じた可能性が高い。
It's highly likely that he transformed into the, what, apocalyptic beast, Favenir, in Grand Hoplon the other day.
そんな、平和になったコートで、やっと目覚めたっていうのに。
That's... even though he finally... It's like, what, after, waking up in... the Imperial capital at peace?
気になるような言動はなかったか、聞いてもよいか?
Okay, was there anything particularly concerning about his, conduct or speech while he was, in the hospital?
気になること。
Concerning. Yeah, this Kininaru really should be, concerning.
そうだ、昏睡状態だった頃、たびたび、うなされながら同じ言葉を口にしていました。
Yes, while he was, comatose? But he would often, mutter the... the same thing over and over again in his sleep?
教皇芸家、それから、主教芸家とか。だから、きっと、敬虔な正教信者だったのだろうとは、思っていましたが。
Yeah, His Holiness. Yeah, it's talking about, the Pope, Bishop, Your Holiness, Your Excellency, and so on. I assumed he was a devout believer of the Orthodoxy.
そうか、感謝する。引き続き調査を続けていくゆえ、真相がわかり次第、貴殿へ伝えよ
う。Thank you, appreciate your help. We'll continue the investigation, and as soon as we know the truth, we'll let you know.
では我々も一度作戦立案室へ戻っ。
Okay. Just going back to the strategy room. Genuinely, unironically, the entire game could just be this style of dialogue, and I would be completely content. This is my fucking jam. Because the thing is that it's not like... Normally when you do political intrigue, it's just kind of lists of names and machinations and... But here we're doing a interesting exploration of... the societal issues in Ishgard.
偽真珠、ファーブニルと化した男、バンドローの正体については、あと一歩というところですな。
Okay. We're very close to uncovering the true identity of Vondro, the man who transformed into the false divine beast, sacred beast. Favenir.
クレム女祭の話によると聖職者ではなさそうだが、彼が昏睡時に発していた言葉からは、敬虔さが伺い知れる。やはり、天下に至った絶望は、信仰と無縁ではないらしい。
Okay, according to Deacon Rem, seems unlikely that he was a member of the clergy, but like those words he muttered while comatose suggested he was deeply pious. But it seems as though the despair that led to this transformation is related in some way to his faith? Or to faith? But it's like, they say it is not unrelated.
しかし、王権を有していた教皇はともかくとして、聖堂の長に過ぎない主教をなぜ呼んでいたのか。
However, why was he... Well, the Pope aside, the Pope with his, sovereign authority aside, why would he call out the name of, a bishop who was simply the head of a cathedral? Like a single church?
このコートで司教を名乗れる高位聖職者はごく一部。彼らに協力要請を打診すべきでしょうな。
Okay, there are only a few, high-ranking members of clergy who, are known as bishops, have the title of bishop. But we ought to, it's like, I guess that's interview again, but it's a bit more nuanced. Like, we ought to interview them and, see if they'll cooperate. It's a bit different than just saying interview. It's kind of like a hesitance. Okay, we may be able to speak directly with, Bishop Valentino Noah through Deacon
では、私から主教へと取り次ぎを頼んでこよう。だが、バルティノア主教は多忙の身。すぐには都合がつかないかもしれないな。
Okay. Okay, he's going to try and arrange a meeting. Okay, Bishop Valentino is a very busy man. May not be able to see us right away. Okay.
オレオ、君は頃合いを見計らって作戦立暗室に戻ってきてくれるか?
Okay. We're just setting up the next quest. Ooh, are we gonna do some sort of fadeaway? Meanwhile, no, we are not. Oh shit. So what? The last quest was there is no... what was it? It was it was something in salvation. It was what? Forgiveness? All that remains is... justice and revenge? That's a very cool one, too. Anyway, we will begin the next quest in just a second. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. Don't go nowhere. And we're back.
俺を殿、待たせてしまったか？つい先ほど、クレム女祭から連絡があってな。バルティノア司教がお時間を作ってくださったそうだ。待たせては悪いと、アイメリク卿が先に向かっておられる。
Okay, the bishop has made time for us. Imeric already went over, said it would be bad to... like, keep him waiting.
となったバンドローなる男が病床にてなぜ司教を呼んでいたのか、それを明らかにせねばな。
Okay, why did, that man known as Vondro, was, transformed into the falsified beast, call for a bishop while, like, in hospital? Yeah, while in the hospital. It's something we must
早速ではあるが、
find out.
レン
This is actually, like, genuinely a good thing. This might be like, other people might say this is a complaint, but I'd say this is a good thing. Notice how we've been, like, we're 3 quests in and there's been 1 instance of combat. Genuinely, I'm so down for that ratio.
ああ、皆様お揃いでご足労いただいたところ申し訳ございません。バルティノ司教芸家にお話があり、
Thank you for your patience.
その旨をお伝えしていたのですが。
Okay, what, I conveyed that you wished to speak with... like, there was something that you wished to discuss with his... what, excellency? I don't know what you would actually do with... for this Geika. I don't know the actual, like, Catholic... ways in which different ranks are addressed. You might just say Bishop, Boruchinore, instead of having any further title.
アイメリク卿や皆様がいらっしゃる直前に少し出てくるとおっしゃって外出なさってしまって。
Just before Sir Imeric and you all arrived, he said he would be out for a moment and suddenly
遠
left.
くには行かれていないと思いますから、お手数ですが、付近を探してみていただけませんか？
Okay, I don't think he's gone too far. Would you mind looking around the area?
聞きながら、バルティノア司教はどこへ向かったのだ。別れて探してみることにしよう。
Yeah, what, he had agreed to... what, to have an audience? Where on earth did he go? Okay, let's split up, look for him. Oh no, this guy's gonna freak out too. He's gonna lose his shit too.
ああ、英雄伝までいかがされましたかな？
The hero. How? I was like, what brings you
バルティノア
here?
司教芸家、拝謁の機会を設けていただいていたはずですが、休養ですかな？
Yeah. God. This is the sort of, like, biting kegel that is very fun. It's like, I believe we had arranged for an audience. Is there some, like, is there some urgent matter requiring your attention? Like, is your presence required elsewhere?
これは議長殿まで今参ろうとしていたところでした。
Ah, the Ah, fuck, I don't remember if this is actually... I don't remember if they actually made him, like, Speaker of the House, or if this is Chairman. I cannot remember which one it is. It's one of the two, I'm just gonna say Chairman. Ah, the Chairman as well. I was just on my way.
それには及ばない、こちらも急ぎゆえ。知っての通り、我々は、バンドローと名乗る青年を追っている。心当たりはないだろうか
Okay, what do you say for this? What do you say for this? I mean, he's just saying, like, we're quite busy ourselves, effectively. He's saying, like, you know, I was just about to go back to the cathedrals, like, there's no need, we're quite busy. As you're aware, we're investigating, we're looking into a young man named... Or, like, who calls himself Vondro. Do you know anything about him?
いえ、バンドローなるな、先代の蒼天騎士団総長を除いては、聞いたこともございませぬ。
Oh? That's weird. Anyway. Yeah, aside from the, former commander of... the former leader of the Knights of the Blue Sky, I've not heard of any other Vondro.
教皇芸家と主教を呼んでいたとのことですが、かの青年はきっと聖教の敬虔な信徒だったのでしょう。辛い病床で心の支えになれたのなら、聖職者として本望です。
I mean, he's being very slimy here, kind of. Okay. But I heard that he was calling out for... what, His Holiness the Pope and... a bishop. He must have been a devout believer in what the or a devout member of the church. What if we were able to provide support, or, like, you know, to support him during his painful, you know, time in illness, then he's saying, like, that they had, you know, that's... he's glad that I think you would just say, like, I'm glad that we could have been, you know, like, of service to provide support and comfort to him in his time in sickness. Or, like, in his sickness.
話がそれだけならば、私は、政務の途中なのでこれにて。
If that is all, I'm... what, currently in the middle of my... wait, what? What? Wait, what is this? Is this, like... what in the fuck? Oh! Okay, so that's like... No, that's not sermon. This is like a more specific Catholic term. I don't actually know what this is. Necessarily. It's not like a... It's more like... I mean, the simple gloss would be like sacred duties, effectively. But that's like a more specific Catholic term that I'm not actually particularly familiar with.
私が教皇陛下の意志を継ぐのだ。
Yeah, I will inherit the mission, the will. Or I will carry on the will of His Holiness the Pope.
バルティノア司教陛下、ご指示通りに準備いたしましたが、これで本当に？
Bishop Martinore, I've prepared everything, prepared everything, made the preparations according to your instructions, but is this really...
ああ、アイメリク教の報告によると、教皇陛下は、番紙を用いて、信仰の強化を計画しておられたそうだ。当初、私は、捏造を疑ったのだが。
Okay, according to Sir Lord Imeric's report, His Holiness the Pope was planning to, utilize an idol to strengthen the faith. But at first I thought that this was... I thought it was a fabrication, however...
陛下の遺品の処理を生徒評議会が請け負った際、私は、ある手記を見つけたのだ。
Okay, when the Council of Saints were... undertook the responsibility of handling his... His Holiness the Pope's belongings, we discovered a... journal or note?
そこには、こう記されておった。竜の目のような、膨大な、エーテルと、祈りで、人に神を下ろすことができるのだと。
It was written there that through the... through a vast amount of ether and prayer... through a vast amount of prayer, like the eye of a dragon, and prayer, that it is possible to invoke a god in a human vessel, I guess, like the shito ni kami o orosu.
そして、この魔大陸は膨大なエネルギーを有しているそうだ。偶然発見したアラグの遺物である魂なき人形と残されていたこの剣をより台に。
Shitogata? They're specifically saying that it's Shitogata. Okay. So you're not gonna want to say doll, you're gonna want to say automaton or something? I don't know. And the... God, Matairiku... Yeah, the continent here was home to a vast quantity of energy. Using this, soulless automaton, and an Allegan relic discovered. by chance? What, and this, like, sword as a vessel. Again, we're using this yorishiro. Like, as the... They're using these two things, I guess, as the objects to imbue a idol within. Or to, like, house an idol within, I guess.
我らが、ナイツ・オブ・ラウンドを再召喚し、イシュガルドに、真剣政治を取り戻すのだ。
Ah, okay, there. So this guy's going straight to prison. Yeah, we will summon the Knights of the Round once more and restore the theocracy to Ishgard. Man, I want to look at this in English so badly. I bet they just did the exact same thing again. Instead of the focus being on the theocracy, they're just gonna be talking about, like, Holiday and all this bullshit constantly. They're not gonna translate Yorishiro, because they never have.
なんだこれは。ただの人のように見えるが。
What happened? He just looks like a human, like a normal human. Normal person.
芸家、強行芸家、お守りせねば、
Yeah, yes, your holiness. Your holiness, the Pope, I must protect you.
出来損ないだ。違う、こんなもの、我らが望んだ、ナイツ・オブ・ラウンドなどではない。
A failure. This is wrong. This is all wrong. No. This is not what the Knights of the Round we desired.
クソ、失敗作目が。早くコートに戻って、芸家の手記をもう一度、改めなければ。
It's like, damn it, we failed. You failure. I have to return to the capital at once and re-examine his, what Holiness's notes.
司教芸家。お待ちください、こやつは
Bishop. What do we do with him?
捨ておけ、どうせ何の役にも立たぬ。
Well, throw it away. It's of no use. Anyhow.
「オレオ、大丈夫か？もしや、過去を見たのでは？」
Are you alright? Did you see the past again?
ナイツ・オブ・ラウンドの再召喚だと？
What do they call these guys again? Because they don't call them the Knights of the Round, do they? They call them something else entirely. What? They were trying to re-summon the Knights of the Round. Oh, well, he's gonna fucking lose it in...
の圧勝、番組の召喚は絶対の禁忌であるとご存知のはずだ。神殿騎士団本部にて詳しい話をお聞かせ願おう。
Yeah. Bishop Valentino, as you're aware, the summoning of an idol, summoning of idols is strictly forbidden. But come with us now to the, Temple Knight's headquarters. You'll give a full explanation of of your actions. He's gonna lose it. He's gonna lose it. He's gonna freak out.
私は、生涯をかけて聖教に尽くし、学び、人々に教え。それを貴様らが突然、欺瞞だ、改革だと騒ぎ立て、私たち聖職者からまさし、私を渡したら占める思想を否定され、蔑まれる無念さが、貴様たちにわかるか？聖教を信じぬ民など、決して私は望まない。教皇が率いぬ聖教なき未来など、決して私は望まない。
Okay. That all went way too fast for me to even remotely attempt to translate it as it was going. Goddamn, just instant. Zero hesitation.
主教芸か。
Bishop.
すみません、アイメリク卿。こうなっては救えないとはいえ、コートの民をあなたの手にかけさせてしまった。
Okay, so those lines were... I've dedicated my... Yeah, I've dedicated my life to the, to the orthodoxy, studying it, studying and teaching its, in preaching its teachings to the people, I guess. Yeah, and then you all... claimed... It's you all started speaking of deception and reform. Tearing, stealing the, the true teachings from us, the clergy. Do you have any idea? Okay, Munensa. Munensa. What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that in English? What is that in English? He's like, do you have any idea of the... frustration or shame? Maybe? Of having the beliefs that, make me who I am, that define me, denied and scorned or, rejected and despised. Do you have any idea? Hmm. 正教を信じぬ民など、決して私は望まない。But it's I cannot stand, for the people to, to not believe in the orthodoxy. I cannot stand. But, I cannot stand to see a people who do not believe in the orthodoxy. I cannot stand to see a capital not led by the Pope. What I cannot stand to see a future without the orthodoxy. That isn't the part that I wanted to go over, even. The part that I wanted to go over was him talking about summoning the Knights of the Round. Oh, you're stupid. Yeah, okay, this is about what I thought. So, we've completed the preparations as per your instructions, but are you certain this will work? It will, it must. Lord Imeric spoke the truth when he revealed the Archbishop sought primal powers to strengthen the people's faith. I'm assuming that hontoni is more like, is this really what we're going to do? Not like, will this work? I couldn't bring myself to believe it, not at first. But in the course of cataloging His Eminence's personal articles, I came upon his journal. Therein he had written that, through abundant ether and fervent prayer, it is possible to make gods of men. You don't understand what that Kami o Orosu means. That's not what that means. All the power we require lies within this place, this Azisla, by channeling the essential elements into the soulless flesh and sword we found. So, make gods of men. Him saying that would, that's immediate blasphemy. On his part. That's not what he's fucking saying. He's specifically saying it is possible to invoke a god into a human vessel. You're not transforming, you're not making a god of a man. That's a different thing. That's the complete opposite direction there. You're not elevating a human to a position of godhood, you are calling down a god into a human vessel. Those are very, very different concepts. In fact, literally opposite concepts. And again, they just didn't translate Yorishiro. We shall summon forth King Thornton and his Knights 12. And by his blessing, Ishgard shall be restored to its former glory. What he actually said was, we will summon again the Knights of the Round and restore the theocracy. Those are not the same thing. By his blessing, what are you talking about? The important part there was the word theocracy. Do you know the word theocracy? It's a kind of important word to have there. They're talking about the political system. Since when do they worship Thornton? Yeah, that's not... I mean, it's just dumb. All of the information that you need is right there in the Japanese. You don't need to be doing this shit. Re-establish the theocracy is clearly the important part, and also having him say we will invoke a god in a human vessel, that's still placing the authority and the respect on the concept of the god and not on the person. You're not elevating a person. You having him say that reveals that you don't understand this belief system whatsoever. You don't understand Japanese, the language. You don't understand Japanese belief systems, and you sure as shit don't understand, like, Christianity that they're basing this off of. You're just kind of talking out of your ass entirely. And then similarly here, I've dedicated my life to the church, conducted my affairs in accordance with the scriptures, and taught others to do likewise. But you took it all from us, tore down everything that defined us. Where's the word reform? You left out the word reform and deception, both of which were in quotes. Both of which are in quotes. It's like you all suddenly started... It's like you all, speaking of deception and reform, you stole the true teachings away from us, the clergy. That's not... You can't just say you took it all away from us. That's not equivalent. You cannot know how it feels to have your very existence rejected. That's not what that means, to be forsaken by your community, to be denied by your society. I deny you and this justice. Who? Huh? Huh? He didn't say justice. I deny an Ishgard where the church is no place. I refuse to accept it. I refuse to accept it. You have to be such a good writer. Yeah. Notice, I don't even really like the, I cannot stand to see. But notice that repeating I cannot stand to see a people who do not believe in the church. It flows much better than this, than saying, do you hear me? Also, that it should come to violence yet again. Would that your hand had not been forced, my lord. That's apparently... This line, which is actually very important in the Japanese here, is, I'm sorry, Lord Imeric, there was nothing, even though there's nothing that can be done. Like, I'm so sorry that you were forced to take the life of a citizen of the capital. Like, of a citizen of Ishgard. That's just a Garland Tools error. But notice how in the English they say, like, would that your hand not have been forced, whereas he specifically says, like, I'm so sorry that you were forced to take the life of a citizen of the capital. Notice that even, he's saying, like, this bishop dude, even though he did all of these horrible things, right? He did all of these horrible things, he's directly rejecting the concept of reform, but Arutoareru is still viewing him as a citizen of the capital, a a fellow person of Ishgard. Notice that this is like the theme here, is that the people within the church are feeling othered by Ishgard. They do not feel as though they have a place within the system of Ishgard now. They feel as though they are outsiders. However, our protagonists within the story are still viewing them as members of their in-group. They themselves feel ostracized. However, Arotoreru and Aimerik and everybody else are still viewing the members of the clergy as fellow Ishgardians. That's like the point? Or something? Would that your hand had not been forced. You're just gonna completely leave out this point. Words have meaning? Let me go full fucking Ben Shapiro. But like, seriously, this is a very good point to show, like, this is why I love this game so much. This is why I love the writing of this game so much. They have actually good-ass nuance. But that's the thing, is that it's not even necessarily, like, empathy for the villains. It's more of a fundamental difference in perception, right? Like, they could still think that he was a horrible monster, or that what he did was unforgivable, etc., but still view him as a fellow member of Ishgardian society. And with that being kind of the important part. That you've got two different... Like, this is fundamentally a story about different political systems clashing. And the transitional period between a strict theocracy to a republic. That the members of the former theocracy feel left out by the republic, whereas the people who are embracing reform and embracing the concept of a republic are viewing everyone as part of the republic. And that fundamental disconnect in perception is leading to conflict. That certain members of the church, who are used to being in positions of authority, view their removal from authority as being ostracized. Ostracized? I can speak, I swear. But also they are being specifically, like, abused and blamed for things that are not necessarily their fault. That's why they have a member of the clergy and the deacon guy who is explicitly good. They aren't just going, ooh, church all bad, everybody in church bad. Right? They're saying that, like, people like this deacon dude, like this Kremu dude, Clem, whatever, genuinely view the church and their position within society as people who help others. They see themselves as part of the community. Whereas that bishop guy and stuff were viewing themselves as being above the community.
事後処理はお任せください。それに、今のクレム女祭はたやすく絶望に落ちかねません。誰かが側にいるべきかと。
Please leave, dealing with the aftermath here to me. Deacon Clem is in what could very easily fall to despair at this moment. I feel like someone ought to stay by his side.
アイメリク卿、オレオ殿。二人は先に作戦立案室にお戻りを。あなた方には。
Okay, we go back to the strategy room. We need to get some rest. But, like, this is all really good. You know, it's very similar to... I mean, it's not really the same story necessarily, but it's similarly handled in a... It was similarly handled in Metaphor, where they, you know, had a... like an Orthodox church that had corruption at the top, but then they actually went out of their way to show that it's not the concept of faith itself, or even necessarily that church itself, that's just explicitly evil in of itself. It's like, ooh, everybody who's part of it is bad. No, that's not how this works. You know, like, you can say, like, oh man, you know, historically, the Catholic Church did some pretty fucked up stuff, but it's not like literally every single person that was part of the Catholic Church was a monster or anything like that. There are plenty of people who are just, like, genuinely trying to help other people. You can, like, criticize a organization and, like, its position within society without necessarily just blanket describing everybody who was part of it as a monster. There's almost like there's interesting discussions and stories to be told within there.
クレム女祭の様子は
How is Deacon
聖レマノー大聖堂の寄宿舎で休んでもらっています。憔悴している様子でしたが、この旅のことを周知せねばと、早くも動き出そうとしている様子でした。
Okay. He's resting, what, in the, dormitory in the Cathedral of Saint Emmanuel. Okay, even though he appeared to be exhausted, it's like he was, what, preparing or wanting to take action to spread the news of what occurred.
彼は当事者である聖職者であり、相次いで同胞の獣化を間近で見ながら、それでも目に光を失わぬ気骨があるように思われますな。
Yeah, like, look. Yeah, he's a member of the clergy directly. What, like, a direct witness to these events. He's seen his, what, fellow clergymen transform into beasts before his eyes, or transform before him, and yet, what, he has the courage, or like the, honestly, like, grit, almost. I kind of like the MTL saying courage there for Cole. I think you might say strength. Like, the strength to not lose the light in his eyes. You know, the hope in his eyes, you might say. What a strong man, but even so.
聖教における事実上の最高権力者たちである聖と評議会。まさかそこからも獣に転じる者が現れてしまうとはな。
Okay, the Council of Saints is the, what, de facto supreme authority within the Ishgardian Orthodoxy. I never would have thought that, what, one of them would transform.
それだけ今のイシュガルド正教が抱える闇は大きいということだろ
う。What, it seems as though there's still, what, the darkness within the Ishgardian Church is still deep.
正教の分離を早急に進めた影響か。
Hey, look! Is this... You know, maybe this is because of the rapid push to separate church and state.
オレオ殿、貴殿が過去史で何を見たのか、詳しく教えてくれないか。
Okay, could you tell me in more detail what you saw in your vision of the past?
バンカミナイツ・オブ・ラウンドを再召喚するために、古代アラグ文明のクローンをよりしろに使うなど。
Hey, look, Yorishiro. I love that MTL has no idea what to do for Yorishiro. They used an ancient Allegan clone as a vessel to resummon the idol, the Knights of the Round.
貴殿が見た。それは、かつての戦ったバンガミとは異なり、人の姿を保ったままで、教皇を守らんと口にした。クローンが人格を得たということか?
Yeah, but what you saw was different than the idol you once fought. It maintained its, like, a human form and what spoke of protecting the Pope. So then did the clone would obtain, what, individuality, or you might say self-awareness, then for this Jinkaku? Individuality?
おそらく、エーテル不足により召喚が失敗したのだろうな。主教たちは、聖剣、アスカローンを触媒にしたという話だが、あれが有していた竜の目は、もはや失われている。
Okay. Summoning likely failed due to a lack of the required ether. You said that the bishop used the, holy sword Oscaron as, catalyst. However, the dragon eye, what that was once housed within it has been lost.
それに加えて、かつてトール第7世が利用せんとしていた三頭人についても、すでに君が対処してくれていた。この点が幸いしたと言えそうだな。
Okay, in addition, you've, already dealt with the, 3 warring or gods of war that Thorin the Seventh once tried to control. And that's a stroke of good luck.
では、クローンはなぜ動き出したのでしょう?
So then, why did the, clone... Why then do you think the clone start moving or begin to act?
これは、推論に過ぎないが、エーテルが不足していたとはいえ、神下ろしの術式そのものは成立していたのだろう。
Huh. Yeah, this is just speculation, but even though there was a shortage of ether, the invocation ritual ought to have been successful. Like, this is the thing, is that the Kamioroshi really needs to have, like, you need a different term for this than summoning. Like, you've got Shokan and Kamioroshi. These are different things. You can't just say summon for both because you're going to be conflating two completely different concepts, and it's just going to make it seem inconsistent.
クローンというよりしろがあればこそ、半端に呼び下ろされた、バンガミの精神が肉体を得てしまったのだ。教皇を、イシュガルド正教を守護する騎士として。
Yeah, because a clone was present to serve as a vessel, the spirit, or the seishin, like the mind, you might say, of an idol, incompletely summoned, was able to obtain a physical body as a knight sworn to protect the Pope and the Ishgardian Church. The Ishgardian Orthodox Church.
アイメリク教、まさか、そのクローンが偽真珠になったとお考えですか?
Imeric, do you truly believe that that clone would have become this false divine
信
beast?
じられないという思いは、私も同感だ。だが、オレオが見たクローンと、偽真珠となった男や、バンドローの風体は一致している。
But I find it just as unbelievable as you, however, the appearance of the men Vandro who became the falsifying beast and the clone that player character saw
い
were
ずれ
the
にせ
same.
よこれ以上の確証を得るためには、さらに調査を続行する必要があるだろう。
Okay, further investigation will be necessary to confirm this information.
オレオ、すまないが、しばらくしてから、また、ここ。
Okay, set up, next quest. Good times. Yeah, that's like, almost stubborn determination, unending faith. Oh, shut up. Wills unending, faith unbending. You do know that by making it a stupid little rhyme, you make it sound lame and cheap. Like, that's some... What, break into Electric Boogaloo? I couldn't remember the actual film that the subtitle came from. But making it a rhyme like that makes it sound cheap.
Oreo殿、よく来てくれた。
They overuse it like crazy.
やれやれ、バルティノア主教が獣化した影響で、教皇庁は大混乱だよ。
Like, okay, and to be completely fair, it's 固き決意、終わらなき信仰. But that doesn't read as like, that's not a rhyme. That's just like both of them have un or something, you know. Not even really. Like just saying like firm determination, unending faith. It doesn't sound cheap. Wheels unending, faith unbending. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Yeah, okay, the Vatican is in a state of utter chaos due to Bishop Valentino's translation.
彼に同調し、マ大陸で神下ろしを試みた者たちから話を聞くべく、神殿騎士を派遣したが、揃いも揃って獣化してな。いずれも討伐されたものの、情報が途絶えてしまった。
Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit skim mode here. Sent out the Temple Knights to try and question the people who were collaborating with him to try and invoke the Knights of the 12, but all of them transformed as well, and so, you know, they were all dealt with, but we lost all the any information that we could have gained.
身元不明の入院患者、バンドローと神下ろしに使われたクローンが同一であると確証を得たかったところですが、
And we wanted to gain positive confirmation that the unidentified, or like the currently unidentified hospital patient Fondro and the clone used for this, invocation, or you might even say possession for this one, were the same.
ああ、だが仮に同一であるとしても、
Probably.
どのようにしてコートにたどり着いたのか疑問が残る。
Okay, even if they were the same, the question still remains as to how they managed to reach the capital.
試みた聖職者たち以外にも協力者がいるとすれば、偽心中対策の障害となることは必至だろ
う。Okay, if there are any, collaborators other than the clergy who participated in this invocation, they'll pose an obstacle in our attempts to deal with the false divine beast.
それならば、私は、マ大陸にて、クローンの行方を追いましょ
う。Okay, we're just going straight to Azizla or whatever to try and find the, whereabouts of the clone.
であれば、未だに放置されていることになる。その可能性を潰しておきたいのです。
Okay, if your hypothesis is correct, then he should not be present on Azizla, whatever, the Matairiku. However, if it was a different person, then that potential would be left unaddressed. I want to, rule out that possibility?
ああ、任せた。助かるよ、アルトアレン教。
Thank you. Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. アルトアレ。
では、オレオ、我々は二人でバンドローの足跡を追おう。
Okay, let's follow, in the footsteps of Andro.
キャンプドラゴンヘッド。彼が保護されたかの地に有力な情報があるかもしれない。
Okay, he was taken into care in the at Camp Dragonhead in the Central Highlands. Okay. So we're going out there on site to where they found him to see if we can figure out anything. Find a trail of some kind. Oh my god, there's so many side quests that I'm never going to do.
秀夫さん、よく来てくれたわね。雪の家には今も足を運んでくれている。
Hero. It's like, what, do you still come to visit? What the... Yukinoye. Honestly, you could probably go with, you could probably slam these together. I don't know why it took me this long to think of it, but, like sand home, snow home, just as one word.
怪我人の情報？ああ、訓練帰りに見つけた青年のことかしら。
Oh, you wanted information on, injured person that was, rescued around here? Oh, the young man we found on our way back from training.
襲われたのか、ここから北にあるシニーの地で倒れているのを発見してね。慌てて連れて行って神殿
maybe he was attacked, perhaps he was attacked by a monster, found him lying in the, it's like holy? What, land of the... Shinochi? That's a weird-ass name for a place. Okay, brought him back here. Took him to the hospital. It's like the land... Holy Will? It's a weird-ass name.
こちらで保護された怪我人の話が聞きたい。俺は救助に
Okay, he wasn't involved.
確か同日だったと思うが、今にも落ちそうなくらい低空飛行する飛空艇を見かけた。しかし、吹雪で見失ってしまった。
Okay, same day, spotted an airship flying so low, looked like they were going to crash, lost sight of him in the blizzard. Okay, so somebody probably had him, on an airship and he fell off of the airship during the blizzard. Oh, adventurer. An injured person taken care of.
吹雪の中なのに薄着で 凍傷になりかけていたの。
Yeah, helped with first aid. They were dressed so lightly despite the blizzard. They were, on the verge of frostbite.
人はあまりの寒さに自分の体温を暑いと感じたり、幻覚を見たりして矛盾脱衣を行ってしまう例があるそうよ。彼が薄着だったのもその一種だと思うんだけどね。
Hey, look, that's a true thing. It's yeah, apparently, in cases of extreme cold, some people sometimes experience, their own body, feeling hot. I think this is actually, the term, right? What is it called? Because I think that they're doing the actual, It is called, paradoxical undressing. Yeah, in fatal hypothermia. They are using that term. God, I love this game. Yeah, they can feel as though, even their own, their body heat is too high, leading to hallucinations and paradoxical undressing. I believe that might be why he was so lightly dressed. I'm just gonna check and see if they actually used the term. Nope, they didn't. They simplified it. Because, of course, they did. Okay, get any good information? Yes.
なるほど。吹雪の中で目撃された低空飛行をする飛空艇。その後に発見された身元不明の薄着の男か。
Yes, there was a low-flying airship spotted in a blizzard, and then a very lightly dressed man, unidentified lightly dressed man, was discovered in the snow.
の身元を洗うためには、その飛空艇が墜落したのか否かを調べる必要がありそうだ。ちょうど黒チョコボを手配したところでな。
Okay. So to investigate Vondral's background, we need to determine whether or not that airship crashed. I've just procured some black chocobos.
彼が保護されたという死にの地を探索するとしよ
う。Okay. Use the black chocobos for the... Yes. The area. Oh look, we're going from the air to see if we can spot a crashed airship. Things that are actually reasonable to do.
Okay,
don't see anything that appears to be a airship. Let's go, yeah, further northeast. What, are we gonna go into that cave? But they were flying low through the blizzard, didn't recognize the terrain. They don't have GPWS on that bitch. Terrain. Pull up. Is that the false divide beast? Yes. Again. 2 in one quest series. Goddamn. Ow, my eyes.
I
must. Protect the Pope. His Holiness.
よかった。ついに目を覚ましたんだね。ずっと長いこと眠っていたんだよ。
Oh, you're... Wonderful, you're finally awake. You've been... asleep for a very long time.
気分はどう？話せる元気がありそうなら、名前か、家を聞いていいかな？
Okay, how are you feeling? If you can talk, can you tell me your name, your where you live? Oh. Oh, that's impossible. Oh, that's impossible, but at the same time, that's really good. He's cycling through the different, personal pronouns and doesn't know which one to actually use. Probably some sort of weird, fucked up amalgam of the various knights of the round, right? So he's saying, ore, and then like, what? Atashi, watashi? He doesn't know.
There's
so many names coming to mind. Verugin, Borukuran, Ermunos と Iniaseru.
だが同時に、違うと、頭の中で、幾人もの声が鳴り響く。どの声も否定しない名は、ないのか？
But there's so many voices in my head saying no, that's not it. Is there a single, is there any name the voices don't deny?
お兄さん、大丈夫？
Are you alright? My name is Bondro.
そうか、この病院の由来になった人と同じ名前とは、きっと良き縁が君を助けてくれたんだろうね。
It's like what? Having the same name as the person this hospital is named after. It's like what? Some good fortune must have been looking your way.
バンドローさん、無理しない程度で教えてほしいんだけど、他にも覚えていることはあるかな？
Mr. Vondro, please don't force yourself, or don't push yourself too hard. Is there anything else you can tell me about yourself?
俺は、誇り高きゼーメルの血筋、違う、聖堂を歩む聖職者だ。とにかく戦いたい、いや、魔法の研究をしたい。本当は、戦いより、社交界が好きで、相棒と共にあった。
But I'm a proud knight of... Like, yeah, house... Or it's like I'm a member of the House of Zemeru. No, I'm a... What, member of the clergy, walking a righteous path. I just want to fight. No, I want to study magic. I want to enjoy high society more than fighting. But I was with my... It's like my partner. This is that Aibo. Again, it's all jumbled up.
生まれに恵まれず、努力は報われず、地に負けて、神殿騎士団総長になれなかった自分を、他ならぬ芸家が、救ってくださった。
Okay. You have to flip the entire ordering here. Potentially, it's like, what, the... Actually, no, you can say, like, I was born into... It's like I was not blessed in birth. My efforts went unrewarded. But due to my heritage, I could not become leader of the Temple Knights. It was the Pope, His Holiness the Pope, who saved me.
その時俺は誓ったのだ。俺は、己の義心を追ってでも、あの王法が正義を貫くための剣になると。
It was then that I, swore... even if it meant... abandoning my own chivalry, or, like, breaking my own oath of chivalry, basically. I would become... their... blade. It's like, you know, I become their blade to enact their justice. Right?
そうだ、芸家をお守りするんだ。俺は、蒼天騎士なのだから。
Yeah, that's right, I will protect His Holiness the Pope. I am a Knight of the Blue Sky.
君は見たところ、騎士様のようではないけれど、命を落としかねない経験をして、記憶が混濁しているのかな。蒼天騎士団の人たちは、行方不明だし、全教皇は、崩御されて。
Hey, they didn't do we. They didn't say we. In the English one for there. You fucked it up. You don't really look like a knight, but... You know, maybe what you went through has left your... memory a little confused. The members of the Knights of the Blue Sky are all missing, and the former Pope has passed away.
とにかく、君が起きたことを知らせてくるよ。水や薬も取ってくるから、待っててね。
I'll let them know you're awake. I'll get you some water and medicine, so please just wait here.
「教皇が崩御された？そんなはずはない。芸家がいらっしゃらないのに、自分が生きているはずはない。
The Pope passed away. That can't be. It can't be. How could I be alive if... what His Holiness the Pope is not. Oh, it's like there's no way I could be alive if His Holiness was not.
確かめに行かねば。
I need to go and see.
Oreo.
Oh shit!
Toldan no na Nanomoto ni.
Ah. Nanomoto ni. This is like in Thornton's name. Notice that he's like sky-colored?
来たのか?
You saw something again?
ならば、詳しい話は戻ってから聞こう。アルトアレール今日も調査が終わり、次第、作戦立案室へ戻っているはずだ。
Alright, let's go back to the capital and talk about it there. Okay. Auditoria should be back in the strategy room. See, this is also, like, this is the sort of shit that I really want them to do more with in the setting. Like, with the nature of how souls and memories work within the setting and the, like, ways in which ether is described to operate, you really can just have this sort of shit happen. Where you've got some random-ass vessel that gets a bunch of disparate memories, but ether doesn't particularly care and it just keeps chugging along.
Ah, オレオ殿。私もちょうど戻ったところだ。そちらも調査は完了したのか?
Like, you try and do an invocation thing, it fucks up. And the ether that you pull out is just like the weird hodgepodge of memories of a bunch of different people slapped into a clone body. And then you have the existential horror of that thing technically being alive. It's awesome.
戻っていたか、アルトアレール卿。して、大陸にクローンの痕跡はあっただろうか?
Also, I like how Ayumeriki is not immediately saying like, oh yeah, we found our guy. This is 100% it. No. He's like, ah, you're back. Artare, did you find any, like trace, any signs of the clone on Azizla?
持っていたのは、打ち捨てられた聖剣アスカロンのみでした。そちらは?
No. All that remained was the, abandoned Holy Sword, Ascaron. How did your search
こちら
go?
はバンドローの足跡をたどった先で墜落した強行座上艇ソレイユ号を発見した。
Okay. We followed Pondero's path, and we discovered the crash, papal airship, the Soryu?
おそらくマ大陸に放棄されていた。
Oh, that's like sun.
高度に
Yeah,
帰還しよ
Soryu.
うとしたの
Okay.
だろうが、
Soryu? He was most likely attempting to use it to return to the capital. It was having found it abandoned on Azisla.
何
Okay.
らかのトラブルで墜落し、クローンは吹雪の中で遭難して後に保護されたと。
So there was, some trouble. Then with the flight, and the clone crashed and was stranded in a blizzard before eventually being rescued. You're saying?
さらに驚くべきは、墜落したソレイユ号の近くには、偽真珠、ファーブニルの姿があったことだ。すぐに逃げられてしまったがな。
Okay. What was even more shocking was the false divine beast Favinir nearby the crashed Soryu. It escaped, or it ran
こ
immediately.
こで、彼女がファーブニルの、いや、バンドローの過去を見たらしい。
And there, they saw Favinir, or I should say, Vondro's past.
俺を、話してくれないか？
No, it's super interesting, yeah. Like, I fucking love this shit. Genuinely. I've said it a bunch of stream, but I wouldn't describe it as dry, but I would describe it as taking itself entirely seriously. And I fucking love that. I am such a huge fan of stories like this and settings like this not being afraid to take themselves entirely seriously. And explore concepts in ways that actually make sense. Could you tell us in detail what you saw? Like, we're getting some amount of Ishgardian societal intrigue, we're getting some amount of weird ether fuckery.
つながりましたな。やはり主教が召喚に利用したクローンがバンドローと名乗り、彼が絶望の果てに偽真珠、ファーブニルと化した。
Alright, it all makes sense now. Like, all the pieces have come together. So, the clone the bishop used for his invocation, or, this summoning. They do say summoning here. Took up the name Vondro, and, having been driven to, the depths of despair, became the false divine beast,
それにしても
Favinir.
言動が気になりますな。名を問われた際の混乱した様子はまるで。
However, his behavior is concerning, or it's intriguing. Every time Kininoru shows up, it's always a pain in the ass to try and figure out exactly how you say it in English, because it's covering a range of meaning, saying both interesting and concerning. You might say what is of interest to me is his behavior. There's confusion upon being asked for his name. Seems as though
以前に暁から提供された資料によれば、番紙は再召喚された折、以前に召喚された際の記憶を継承しているらしい。
Yeah, according to information that was previously provided to us by the Dawn, it appears as though when a idol is re-summoned, it retains it, or inherits the memories of its previous summoning. Or you might say previous summonings. Or no, because it's... that seems to be singular. Saretasai no kyoku. No, that's plural, probably. Previous summonings.
より大となる一つの肉体に、ナイツ・オブ・ラウンド全員の記憶が検証された可能性がある。
In that case, it's possible that the memories of all of the Knights of the Round were inherited by a single physical body, like a single human body serving as the vessel, as their vessel. Wait a second. In the English they say, it may be assumed that the clone harbors the memories of all those who became King Thornton and his Knights 12. When I'm fairly fucking certain the Knights of the Round is specifically the Knights and not Thornton. Like, I don't think Thornton isn't included in the Knights of the Round. I'm pretty damn certain. I might be misremembering that, but I'm pretty certain that it's just referring to the Knights, not Thornton himself, and that that's like a separate entity.
I
might be wrong about that.
戦った記憶が影響し、脅威とみなしたのだろう。
Yeah, the reason why they fled when... Yeah, memories of their past battles led them to see them as a threat.
アンドローを名乗ったのも、それぞれの人格が対立しているがゆえと思えば、うなずける。なんとも歪な存在だ。
Yeah, it makes sense that they would take up the name Vondro because the respective personalities were in conflict. You know, what a truly, distorted or warped entity. Again, that's distorted, irregular. I don't know what you would go with in English for that. Also, I mean, it does actually make sense that they would go with the, I mean, he's saying that they would go with the name Vondro because Vondro is the leader, right? So, considering that he was, the leader of the Knights of the Blue Sky, it would make sense that that would be the lead name.
だが、どれだけいびつであろうと、教皇の守護という、蒼天騎士団の存在意義は、強固に焼き付いていたのだろう。それが果たされぬと知ったら、
Though, no matter how twisted or, you might say confused, they might have been there. The very reason to live for the Knights of the Blue Sky, to protect, the protection of the Pope, was burned within their very beings. Or it's very strongly, I guess you would say imprinted on them, seared into them. And if they were to learn that this could not, their duty couldn't be fulfilled.
蒼天騎士たちは我らに立ちふさがり、敵対し、友の命を奪った。
Yeah, the Knights of the Blue Sky stood in our way, turned against us. And what took the life of a dear friend.
だが、死した後にまで、このような似姿を作られて、絶望の底に突き落とされ、獣と化すことなど、誰が望むというのだ?
But who could ever want? But for, God, how do you say this? How do you say this? It's like, who could ever, like, wish to be what, like, recreated in such a way, cast into the depths of despair, and transformed into a beast after death? Like, even in death.
今を生きる聖職者たちとて同じこと。
It's not just the Knights of the Blue Sky. The same goes for the members of the clergy with us now.
程度の違いはあれど、イシュガルド正教は、コートの民が生きていく上での指針であり、心の拠り所だった。このままでは、さらに多くが絶望に飲まれよう。
Okay. Okay. Hang on. It's like, to varying degrees, I guess you would say, the Ishgardian Orthodox Church served as a... Well, like, as a guiding principle for the lives of the people of the capital, you know, and their foundation. You know, if things continue this way, even more will be swallowed up by despair. Okay, so you're saying the options here are we shouldn't forget the past, but we need to keep moving forward. Or saying, like, shouldn't we find them a new foundation? You know, you have to find something else for them to place their trust in and serve as a guide to them.
ああ、そうだな。崩れた拠り所にすがり続けるべきではない。痛みを伴ってでも一歩を踏み出さねば前には進めないのだから。
You're right. You know, we can't hang on to a foundation or like you would say stand upon a foundation that's already crumbled. You know, even if it hurts, unless we take that step forward. Like, unless we take that step, we can never move forward.
アルトアレール教、私は次の議会で公会議の開催を提言しようと思う。
Okay. Or I'm going to propose a general or like public general council at the next assembly?
協議に関する重要事案を審議する公会議、つまり覆された旧来のイシュガルド正教の教えに代わる新たな教義を定めるのですが。
Wait a minute, is that accurate? Oh, what in the fuck? 公会議. Wait, no, that is Ecumenical Council, General Council. Oh. Oh, okay. Apparently that's the term for that. I just thought that it was like, I just saw ko as in like, you know, general public. But it's, no, they mean like official. Okay, okay, okay. No, that is ecumenical, I guess. Okay, an ecumenical council to discuss or to deliberate on, like, vital matters of doctrine. So then you wish to establish a new doctrine to replace the, what, overturned teachings of the old Ishgardian orthodoxy? Jesus fucking Christ, this game. This is a Final Fantasy game, and we're talking about ecumenical councils. Christ. Fucking hell.
政教分離を掲げた以上、これまで政教のあり方には不干渉を貫いてきた。
Okay, as we have advocated, or upheld, advocated the principle of separation of church and state, we've refrained from interfering in the affairs. What we have... What strictly adhered to a position of non-interference regarding the affairs of the orthodoxy.
貴族院議長としてではなく、一人のイシュガルド正教の信徒として聖職者に呼びかけよう。人々のために新たな正教のあり方を模索してほしいと。
However, I intend to speak to the clergy, not as the chairman of the House of Lords, but as a fellow believer. As a fellow member of or believer of the Ishgard Orthodoxy. I will... I will, plead with them to... appeal to them that they find a new path. Or, it's not like new path, a new form for the orthodoxy to take for the sake of the people.
感謝するよ、オレオ。新たな気づきを与えてくれて。
Thank you. For making me realize this.
私は早速クレム女祭など正教の改革に前向きな聖職者たちに提言してみるつもりだ。君は開催の準備が整うまでしばし待っていてくれ。
Okay, I'll give this suggestion. I'll speak to members of the clergy who are open to... Yeah, it's like who view reform positively. Such as Deacon Kureme. It'll take a while for the, preparations for this to be complete, so I ask that you wait. Okay. Sick. Oh, it's, Goddess of War, guide our path. Okay, that's gonna be the spot to stop it. It is a bit awkward. I think, we're more than halfway through the roll quest, so we're probably just gonna roll, this one into another one. Probably the healer one. But these are good. Like, these are actually very good. This really is, like, unironically, kind of peak Final Fantasy XIV. Like, when I think of what is Final Fantasy XIV about, like, what's the general tone of the story, and, you know, what's the way in which it is written, it's this. Like, this is the shit that I remember. This is, ooh, very good. But anyway, that is going to do it for me for right now. Next time, more role quests. These are really good, actually. Like, I kind of thought that it was going to, that I was just kind of doing these as a little, aside to stop myself from going too far with the MSQ and burning and running out of material, but I mean, I'm just kind of invested now. These are really good. But yeah, that is going to do it for me for today. Thank you all for stopping by, and I will see you next time. Peace out.